Justin has requested me on Patreon to review George A. Romero's horror classic Night of the Living Dead. This is often regarded as the film that birthed a lot of the familiar zombie trademarks, even if they never referred to as zombies here. And through this concept, Romero was able to provide a chilling film that makes excellent use of its small budget to get into the mindset of these characters dealing with the dead suddenly appearing and shuffling towards them. Nowadays, we know a lot of the zombie tropes, and very often the characters in zombie movies already have a knowledge of them too. But in Night of the Living Dead, the protagonists are learning about them at the same time as the audience did back in 1968. They're confused and scared and not sure how to defeat them, and constantly learning on the fly and getting whatever information they can out of television and radio broadcasts. This is all new territory for them, and that has actually helped this film stand the test of time. The characters themselves given individual personalities, and Romero and the cast able to depict the differing reactions if this sort of apocalyptic scenario were to occur. We have someone trying to keep himself level-headed and figuring out the best strategy to defeat them, the paranoid one mostly thinking about saving his own hide, and the person with lingering trauma over what she has witnessed so far. That they were played by mostly non-professional actors, including a few of the film's financiers, actually adds to their performances, and they even affected how their characters were written. Most of the movie is set in an abandoned farmhouse, and Romero was able to make great use of the setting as they closed off with few places to turn. The inventive camera angles and the use of stock music would also lend Night of the Living Dead a more cinematic feeling rather than coming across as just a home movie. Romero and his team did such a good job of lending the film an atmosphere even with the low budget they had, although this also highlights why horror is such a popular genre among filmmakers working with minuscule budgets. They're able to do so much with so little and create some impressive results from what's available to them. It's actually quite similar to the characters in the movie in a way, as they only have the objects available to them in the farmhouse and try to see what will be the most useful way to ward off the zombies. As for the zombies, their simplicity is part of what makes them so interesting to watch as they go after the main characters. We also see them slowly evolve over the course of the film, starting off as just violent, eventually gaining an appetite for human flesh and insides. Again, the audience back in 1968 probably did not see that coming, and were also not used to seeing some of this imagery in the horror movies they were accustomed to going to. In fact, children were actually admitted into Night of the Living Dead for its initial screenings, as theaters showed it as a Saturday afternoon matinee. Because Romero shot the film in an almost realistic fashion that likely heightened the terror, as it resembled more what might be shown on the nightly news than a typical movie. The movie also does not shy away from depicting the horrific deaths of the characters and how they get killed off by the zombies and other events. Romero wanted to make it clear just how dangerous a situation this was, and does not let go of that feeling that any one of them could die at any moment. A frequently mentioned aspect of the movie is that the lead protagonist Ben was played by Dwayne Jones. Romero cast him because he felt he was the best actor for the role, and even though he was not thinking of Ben as black when he wrote the script, he did not change anything about his character following Jones' casting. However, considering the civil rights movement was going on at the time, it does add another layer of political subtext in the movie, even if that was not Romero's intention. The ending, where the local law enforcement assumes he's one of the zombies and shoots him, has not lost any of its shock and relevance since the scene was filmed. Everyone else has been killed by zombies or some other related disaster, but Ben dies at the end because of other paranoid people. What's interesting is that Romero considered an ending where he survived, but Jones convinced him not to film it, as having the hero die in the ending would generate a bigger shock from the audience who were accustomed to seeing the main hero triumph. Jones will later say in an interview, "I convinced George that the black community would rather see me dead than saved, after all that had gone on, in a corny and symbolically confusing way. The heroes never die in American movies. The jolt of that and the double jolt of the hero figure being black seemed like a double-barreled whammy." Even with the fantastical premise of the dead rising from the grave, there was clearly an intent to show the bleakness of the situation and maintain a sense of realism, which Romero and everyone else involved pulled off. I should also mention that because the film's original distributor carelessly removed the copyright notice, Night of the Living Dead immediately fell into the public domain. That means the movie is widely available, and you can legally watch it for free on YouTube and other video sharing platforms. However, the best quality version is a restoration put together by the Museum of Modern Art and Martin Scorsese's Film Foundation, which is currently licensed to Criterion. Whichever way you decide to watch Night of the Living Dead, it's an exciting directorial debut for George A. Romero, and even with the zombie film tropes this would create, its power is not lessened since its original release. If you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for the request, Justin.